Hi, it's Martin Perhiniak. Welcome back to PSD Touch Plus and the Shortcut series. In this episode and in the following one, I am going to show you how to create this effect that you can see on the right. You might have seen this example before, but I never showed you how I created the whole postcard effect. So starting from the image on the left, I am going to end up with the one on the right. So let me go to Photoshop. I press Escape here in Bridge and I double click on this original photograph. There are a couple of things I need to do before we can add the banner and the type on it. First of all, I would like to clean the image a bit. So I am going to create a new layer. Command-Shift-N or Control-Shift-N to create a new layer and call that layer Retouch. And if you follow the series, you learned about the retouch tools with me before. So I am going to use the spot healing brush tool to get rid of the trash on the ground. I am going to just simply draw over them. Make sure sample all layers is turned on. So I can draw over this, draw over that, another one, and just get rid of them quickly. This one as well. There's one in the background, here in the shadow. And yeah, for the shadow it's probably better to use the clone stem tool. Again, using all layers option, sampling all layers. And I think that's it. Maybe this one here needs retouching. And let me just go to the right. Yes, this part should be also retouched. Now we can use several ways of doing this. I am going to try using the patch tool. So I'm going to select this part here. Okay. I made a selection and then I drag and move it to the left and let it go. And because I use content aware and sample all layers with this patch tool, it worked like a charm. So I can just simply use the clone stem tool to make some details more sharp, to make sure that no one can see it has been retouched. And also repeated elements like this and that can give the retouch away. So I am going to get rid of them, and now it looks even more realistic. So let me show you without the retouch and with the retouch. I think we did a quite good job on this. So now we can continue working with the image. First of all, I would like to straighten the image a bit because I feel it's rotated a bit to the left. So how to do that? I am going to use the crop tool and I'm going to click on the right side and drag the corner down a bit. And as you can see, Photoshop will automatically keep the crop inside our original canvas. So I won't see any empty areas, which I used to see before. And I'm using this straight line here to try to align the soldier in a vertical straight line. And then I press enter. Now it looks much better. So that was before. This is after. Once again, before, after. And you can see our crop is just perfect. So we don't see any blank areas. And also the great thing with this feature, the new crop tool, is that we didn't delete anything. So if I go back, I can still see the original details there. And if I decide to, I can always make adjustments to it. Okay, so that's a very powerful way of cropping images. And now what I would like to do after this is to add a frame to the image and then also add a vignetting around the corners. So first of all, let me add the frame. I can use the image in the background, this one, but the problem with that, if I add the frame on this, like using the stroke option, is that whatever I'm going to place over it will overlap it. So let's just say I add a stroke position inside and set the color to white. So let me just use white color for that. And I am going to increase the size. You can already see we have another problem, not just that we will overlap this effect, but the other problem is that we have our original rotation visible from the stroke. That's definitely something I don't want to do. So I just go back and instead of using the background layer, I'm going to call this soldier. So that's the soldier's layer. I am going to create a new layer and call that frame. So this will be my frame layer and I can fill it with any color. It just has to be filled. Okay. And then we can add the layer style. I'm going to use stroke inside and the color will be white. and I can set the size to something like 10 pixels, maybe a little bit bigger, something like 20 pixels. I click on OK. And the way I can get rid of this black fill is to simply turn the fill down to 0%. I click on fill, drag it down to 0%. Because now I won't see any content of this layer. I will only see the added effects on it. In this case, the stroke effect. So this is a very useful way of creating something, a layer only for its effects, and then turn down the fill to 0%. I'm going to create another effect now, and that will be a vignetting effect to add vignetting on the corners. Okay, so I am going to create the whole effect using vector shapes, because that will keep it completely non-destructive. So first of all, I am going to create an adjustment layer, and that adjustment layer will be the brightness contrast. And I drag down the brightness, so I make the image darker. Maybe I think it's better to use from the adjustments layer curves. With curves, I can turn it darker, or let's just try levels. I'm not sure which one will be the best for this result. Probably levels will give us a quite good result. If I drag this slider to the left, that will brighten it exactly how I want it. And I will also just add a bit more contrast with this on the top. That's the effect what I want for my vignetting. And now we can delete this mask here. I right click on the mask and choose delete layer mask. And then we can create a different mask, a vector mask. If I hold down Command or Control on the mask icon, I can add a vector mask. So now if we go to properties, you can see it's a vector mask. And in this vector mask, I can use the ellipse tool and draw an ellipse inside that mask, something like this. While drawing, I hold down space to move my shape around and to add it there. It didn't draw it into the mask, so I can always use the path selection tool, copy, and select the mask and paste it in. And then I can delete the ellipse as which was separate. Now, the only problem is this shape will mask out the corners and apply the adjustment, this dark adjustment, onto the center of the image. For the vignetting effect, I need completely the opposite of this. So how can I invert a vector shape? I can always invert a pixel mask very easily by pressing Command I, but how can I do it with a vector shape? It's very simple. We just need to change the option for it. So I can select it and then change the combine shapes option to subtract front shape. Once I set that, it will be like inverting a pixel mask. Very useful technique. And now if I keep this layer selected and I select the mask, I can add feathering on top of it, which will make it more like a vignetting effect. So I will increase it up something like that, and that will add a feathering together with a vector shape. So using an adjustment layer, vector shape, and masking options together can create a completely non-destructive vignetting effect. So I can call this layer vignette, like that. And now we are almost ready. For this episode, we are ready, but we need to continue to create the effect that I showed you in the beginning. Let me just show you once again in Bridge. This is what I would like to achieve. So for this, we still need to make a selection and some adjustments, and also use some clever techniques to make it look like this banner with the text is behind the soldier. So in the next episode, we are going to finish this postcard together using the type tool, masking, some clever layer styles and blending options, and also adjustment layers. So if you're interested how to finish this, please join me next time. But thanks a lot for your attention today.